I was asked today to speak about the law of expansion. So Auntie Irene already introduced me, but yeah, I've grown up in Liberty. I love everyone here, and it was just an honor to be asked to speak about this. So today I'm speaking to you as someone who's had to apply the law of expansion to get to where I am now, or achieve the goals that I set myself, but also as someone who still needs to apply it to get to where I really want to be and achieve everything else I want to. The idea that I want to emphasize is that there's no finish line to growth. We all have so much potential, and it's just about expanding our mind and then expanding our capacity for action to be able to achieve those goals. So we turn to the next slide about expansion. So expansion is about learning, growing, and increasing your capacity. It's just about thinking bigger and with intention. And if there's one thing I want you to take away from today, is that your potential is limitless, as long as you do the things that you need to do. So it's not just about believing you have the potential, but also taking the necessary steps. So success is when you have continued action and continual adjustments. And once you expand your mind and then change your actions, that's when you're able to, achieve your goals, as I said. So I want to start by sharing my experience and kind of my journey. So for context, I was called to the bar this year. I think that's why I was asked to speak about this. And that was a really big achievement for me. And I wouldn't have been able to achieve it without first believing that I could. And it was a number of things that led to that point when I did believe that I could become a barrister. And so, if you just turn to the next slide, what would you attempt if you knew you couldn't fail? So I grew up and I saw my mom, and she went back to study when Renee was really young. And I just saw the way that she pushed herself to go back to university, even with a young child and a family. So she had 3 kids. And she believed that she could do more. She came to this country, she didn't really have much. And for her to decide that she had this career that she wanted to get into in this country and go out and do it was very inspiring for me. And then I also saw my auntie Helen succeed in business when I was young. And me and Bella used to work in her company with her. She was leading this big company called Bomb. I'm sure some of you guys have the jewelry still. I didn't get any of the leftover jewelry, but I'm sure some people have it. And that was really inspiring when we used to help her pack the orders and just do that. And then I saw her go back to uni 4 years ago and get a first class in social work. And I was like, wow, so, these women have really come to this country. They didn't really have much, but they went out and did, something that was very inspiring. And so I went to a school called St. Andrews, and it was a mixed school. It was a bit, you're saying, yeah, because Auntie lived in the area, so she used to always see us after school. But yeah, it wasn't the best school objectively, but I had a good experience. And I was one of those kids that always got the feedback of Rianna has so much potential if she just pushed herself. And I used to wonder why I didn't push myself as much as I could, because I would do the work, but I would do the bare minimum. And I think it's because I knew when I didn't try, I was still able to comfortably get a C or B, and that was good enough for me. And then I kept that, mindset of just doing the bare minimum until A-levels, when I got a reality check, because if you do the bare minimum when you're doing A-levels, you're gonna fail, basically. So I didn't get the grades that I wanted before going to university, so I didn't go to my first choice. And that was hard, but I was like, you know what, I want to do law. I'm gonna go to this uni and just try. And at university, I discovered that I really enjoyed it. And for the first time, I started applying myself to my full capacity, and I saw that I was actually achieving, better grades. I think part of me felt like, what if I tried my best and I still got a C? So it was that kind of pride and fear that would stop me from just putting in the work. But I did it, and I was happy. And then I did a placement year, and that was very transformative for me, because when you start doing law, you're exposed to this whole world of like, okay, there's solicitors, there's barristers, and while both paths are really hard, the way it was framed to me is that, only people who go to Oxbridge and have the best grades can become a barrister or get, pass the course or do this or do that. So I just thought, what, I can't even think about that as an option. And then I did a placement year in a software company, and that was so helpful because the managers had such a belief in me that I had never had in myself. And yes, my family believed in me, but to have professionals who are experienced and qualified believe in you was very different for me. So I started considering the barrister route more, and that's when I started moving from, can I do this, to how can I do this? So I sought out to get a mentor, and luckily I was put with a Black woman who's a commercial barrister. And she, during my placement year, she just encouraged me. She told me what I needed to do, the experience I needed to have. And I was like, oh, okay, I can actually do this. Like, this is someone who's there, and she believes that I could do this. And she was like, Rianna, you need to get a first, because let's face it, you're not at the best uni. They do, unfortunately, in the world of law, they care about that. So she was like, you need to get a first. So I felt, did I switch it off? Okay. I felt this pressure to get a first, but I was like, okay, how am I going to do it? And I just made sure that, I went the extra mile, I guess, in my final year, and I was able to get a first. And then I was told I need to, yeah, thanks. So then she was like, Rianna, on the bar course, you need to make sure you get a distinction. So I was like, okay, I need to do that. But I remember being on the bar course, which I started last September, finished in May. We have December exams, so they split the exams in half. So I had some in December, some in, was it May? Yeah, May. And we had the December exams, and I found out I passed everything. I was really, really happy. And then one guy who was in my class, who had never spoken to me, came up to me, and he was like, Rianna, what uni did you go to? And I told him, and he was like, that uni is so crap. He started laughing. And I was just like, okay, fair enough. But it was my first experience being around the type of people that I thought could only be barristers. And you find that they have a view of who can be barristers too. So being around that, it did kind of challenge. It was another challenge in terms of like, can I do this? But I did. So I passed the course, and I was really happy with that. But even today, I have those doubts, and I have to push beyond the limits I thought that were there. Another example is, how do I explain it? Aspiring barristers do these type of competitions called mooting. So it's like a fake court scenario where you're going up against someone else. So I did this competition recently. There were 2 rounds. I got through them. I was really happy. And the final was on Monday. So it was me and 3 other people, and I made the mistake of going on LinkedIn and searching them up. So I saw the type of unis they went to. On LinkedIn, you present your best self, like all the achievements, all the qualifications, all the things they've won. And I was like, wow, like, how am I going to go against these people? And so when it was my turn to speak, I was scared, but I just tried my best. And there was a girl who went after me, and I remember thinking as she was speaking, if I was a judge, I would pick her. But I was like, Rianna, you need to really just believe that you're meant to be here. Like, you've done your best, you think you've done well. That's it, you shouldn't compare yourself to anyone else. And I won, that was a surprise as well. So I think I would like to say, if you go to the next slide, please. This is a verse that I just remind myself of all the time, because on Monday, obviously I've done the prep, I've done the work, but really and truly, the judges could just prefer someone else. Like, it comes down to favor as well. I don't take credit for the things that I've achieved, because I know there's an element of favor that comes into it. So it's just important to keep in mind when you're believing that you can achieve things. Don't rely too much on your own strength or your own ability, or I've done this, or I prepped for 10 hours, so I have to do this. Just believe that you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. And yeah, that's something that's carried me through. So John Maxwell sets out some helpful ways to expand your thinking capacity first. So the first guidance is transition from more work to what works. And sometimes it's not about doing more, it's about doing what matters most, because I'm sure you guys all know about burnout. Sometimes we think, okay, yeah, if I study for like 10 hours overnight, then I'm gonna get this grade, or if I spend this amount of time watching or this podcast or this and that, then I'm gonna I'll just succeed. But you have to really sit and think, what am I required to do to achieve this goal? And what gives me the greatest return? And what fulfills me or energizes me? What's gonna push me to actually achieve this goal? So that also takes speaking to someone as well. Like my mentor really helped saying, okay, because some people think that you need to do a master's to qualify as barrister. She was like, you don't, it's okay. So don't do this, but focus on doing this, build more experience here. And that's where it's helpful to get guidance from other people about what works. And then, like I said, when I made that switch from can I to how can I, so it's about believing in yourself first and challenging those limiting beliefs that you have. So instead of focusing whether you're capable, focus on finding solutions. So that's also seeking out people who can help you, information, and whatever you can do to open your mindset, have a mindset of possibility. And this one is my favorite, from thinking one door to many doors. So sometimes it's easy to think that, if I get this job or if I get this opportunity, that means I'm gonna get to my goal. But I've quickly realized that sometimes the thing that we think is best for us or is most ideal for what we want to achieve isn't. I've had times recently, like a few months ago, where there was this job opportunity and it seemed like, okay, if I get this, it means I'm gonna be able to just, excel in this area, and then I can take on these cases and this and that. But then I didn't get it, I got something else, but the other job I got gives me more time to focus on the things that I need to do to just build up in other areas rather than just focusing on one area of law. So it's just going to that mindset, just having an abundance mindset. There's not just one way to success. And just because you've seen someone else go that way, even if it is a mentor, doesn't mean that's going to be the same way for you. So then he sets out how to expand your capacity for action. And this is kind of long-winded, but he says, stop doing only those things you should have done before and start doing those things you could and should do. So that's just about leaving your comfort zone. Don't think because maybe this worked before that it's going to work now. And when you're trying new things, that gives you the space to make mistakes, learn from it, and grow from it. And then he says, stop doing what's expected of you and start doing more than is expected. So this is really relevant for education because there's a big difference between, is it a big difference? There's a difference between a 2-1, a first class. There's a difference between people, I don't know, their business makes millions and thousands. There's a difference, and sometimes it goes back to that looking at how other people achieve things to figure out how you can achieve it. So for me, when I was like, okay, I want to get first class, what I did was I searched up people who did, and I found out what they did differently. And it was kind of like organization, speak to teachers more, reading the syllabus, just being prepared. So it's just about having an attitude of excellence. Don't think that the bare minimum is going to get you to where you want to go. You need to start thinking, what more can I do to distinguish myself? And then stop doing important things occasionally and start doing important things daily. And that's quite self-explanatory because you need to just have a habit of doing the things that are going to lead to your goal. It's quite simple, like just doing 10 minutes a day, an hour a day, whether it's gym, whether it's applications. For me, I'm doing a lot of applications now. I need to spend a good amount of time a day, dedicating time to it, so that over time you'll be like, okay, actually, I've done a lot. Rather than seeing it as this big thing that you need to sit down and tackle. And just ask yourself, what small step can I take today towards the goal that I have? So expansion is about turning your mindset into action and about doing more than what you've always done to achieve something new. And I think the main thing from my journey is just knowing that it is a journey. Like, you're never going to reach, I don't know, the pinnacle of success. Like, it's a constant journey, whether it's in your personal life, becoming a better person, getting closer to God. That's you're never going to reach a point where you're like, yeah, I've arrived. It's a constant thing that you just need to keep striving towards. So if we could get the next slide, please. So expansion requires both mindset and actionable effort. And I just want everyone to just reflect on whether you've transitioned from I can't or can I to how can I. That's all I want to share on that. Thank you.
If that wasn't brief, then I don't know what that is. We kind of wanted more. And that's why you're going to stay here, right? Do we have a microphone for the audience? Yeah? Thank you, Jotham. You've said a lot. The things that have stood out for me is the people you've observed and the people you've reached out to help you expand. And also about stretching yourself and the relationship with God. Of those three, which one do you feel is the non-compromisable? Does that make sense? Yes. Like, when there's, everything has a level of priority. So people, relationship with God, is there one that you feel has always been your go-to more than the other? Or what has stretched you more than the other? Or what has allowed you to expand more than the other?
Yeah, definitely my relationship with God, because like I said, there's still times where those thoughts try to creep in, but it's when I remind myself of the verse and just, I don't have to be amazing for this to work. God's going to do the rest. Like, as long as I do my best, he'll do the rest. So I think just prioritizing my relationship with God and just not letting those thoughts get to me is important.
Thank you. Amazing. Is that a microphone there? Thank you.
Yeah,
Keep this, and I'll just be at the side.
Thank you very much. That was really good and really challenging, but encouraging. I just wanted to ask a question. What advice would you give to our young people here that could be at a stage whereby they think they're doing okay, they can settle for what they're achieving, say in terms of grades, but the law of expansion, as you've just explained, it's like going beyond, thinking beyond that. So what advice would you give to our young people who might be thinking about career or university, but even the grades they're achieving now? Thank you.
Well, I think if, you're at a place where, you can do better, or you feel like you're not doing enough, it's important to first think about why you're not doing enough, because it could be laziness, it could be fear. For me, it was just fear of like, if I do more, is it still going to be enough? So think about that first, and then it'll be good to speak to someone who's been through it. There's a lot of people here who have, graduated, and we've been through the same things, and just know that you can achieve a lot more than you think.
Hey sis.
Hi.
So how would you say that your self-image has stretched or limited your own capacity for growth? Like, what's your journey in that sense?
Trust you to ask a question like that. I think, for me, it was just, like I said, I have so many things that make me think that I can't do it. Like, okay, I went to a state school, and I'm from Croydon, I'm black, I'm a woman, I was in a council flat, all these things that don't matter to me now, and even at the point, I don't think they did matter to me. But I think other people will care about. So I think it's just believing. So one of my mentors spoke to me and she said, stop seeing those things as limiting and see it as the thing that's going to make you stand out. See it as the thing that people are going to look at and be like, wow, she's going to bring a different perspective to this. She's going to bring a different vibe. And especially now, a lot of companies are doing diversity schemes, and they really value having a lot of diverse people in. Just see it as your strength, or I started seeing it as my strength rather than a weakness. Yeah. Thanks.
All right. Rianna, could you please talk to us about the imposter syndrome, how you're overcoming it?
Oh, okay, yeah. Thank you. I think I felt imposter syndrome most when I was in my placement year. So I was in a software company, I was in the legal department, and you have a lot of people in different departments come to you, asking you legal questions and stuff. And I was trained, but I don't think I believed that the training was enough, so I didn't really believe in myself. And I just felt like, what am I doing? But I think it was through just being affirmed by my managers and affirming myself and just, reminding myself they picked me for a reason. There's a reason why they gave me this job. And again, like Philippians, I keep that verse in mind, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. But I do think imposter syndrome is an ongoing thing that it can crop up now and again, because nowadays I'll be the only black person in a lot of environments, and that alone can make you feel like, do I really belong here? But again, it's like I've earned my place here just as much as anyone else. So I just need to it's just constantly reminding myself that, yeah.
First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
Secondly, where do you see yourself in 10 years?
10 years.
Not that far away.
Yeah, I guess. In 10 years, I would see myself probably practicing just employment, commercial. I think I'll have like a diverse practice. I also see myself mentoring people, because giving back the same way that I've given to other people. My mom's trying to say a judge, that I'll be too young to be a judge. Judges are 34 years old.
What about, you said that you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you.
Yeah. No, okay.
It's not impossible.
It's not impossible. Okay, yeah, maybe a judge. And just giving back the way others have given back to me, because I don't think I would have believed in myself or even taken the steps I have without the mentorship of the people who have invested time into me. But yeah, thank you for that question.
Thank you for your story. For me, what stands out is this moment you had with a coach. What did you call them? Wherever you were placed with a mentor.
My placement year or the mentor?
When you were advised, especially by a black.
Oh yes, my mentor. Yeah.
She was a mentor. Was this at university?
I had to apply for like a scheme.
Okay.
And yeah.
Yeah, it's said in general that poor and rich communities are distinguished by this. The lack of coaches and mentors defines poor communities. People who try to do it and wing it. Those whispers, those moments when somebody ahead of you pours into your life. Would you say that looking back, even in perhaps your choice of university, looking back, if somebody had advised you, you would have gone much further and much faster?
Yes, 100%. Because the only person that encouraged me to do law was, aside from my family, was one teacher who gave me this book for how to be a successful law student. And I remember that was like, oh wow, someone else actually believes that I could do this. And even I applied for a scholarship in my final year of uni, and I didn't get my mentor to like coach me, I guess, as much as she could have, and I didn't get it. And when I did it the second time and I got the scholarship, I looked back at how I interviewed the first time and I was like, I wouldn't have given it to myself as well, because the mistakes I was making were just so silly. But if someone had told me, this is how you need to be, this is what they want to see, I would have got it the first time. So it definitely is important. And I think now there are lots of schemes for BAME people and underrepresented groups to provide mentoring, which is good. But I think, yes, more of us need to try and just invest time into other people so that they can feel like, so they don't make the same mistakes that we did.
Yeah, thank you, Rianna. Thank you. It's very inspiring. How is your money management?
Okay.
Personal finances.
My personal finance.
Is it about money while you're driving yourself? Yeah. How do you perceive money? Yeah, I think that's my question.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I would say in terms of is it money that drives me, initially when I started doing law, I was like, I want to be a commercial solicitor, like at the top firm, because I knew they get paid the most. And then I transitioned from commercial solicitor to commercial barrister because I was like, they make the most money. But then when I started getting exposure to what it's really like to be a commercial barrister, I was like, yeah, this is it for me. So it became less about the money and more about what's gonna fulfill me. In terms of how I am with my money, I mean, it's not until this year, this is the first year that I've been able to actually manage my money without just keeping in mind the fact that I'm going back to study. So I've always been working or earning with the fact that I need to have money for studies in mind. So I would say now I'm being a lot more intentional and just thinking about the future goals I have, less holidays, just trying to be disciplined and think about the future more. But it's important because also barristers are self-employed, so I have to be good at managing my money. So that's something I'm trying to practice now.
What's your why? I might have missed it earlier.
Oh, you're here.
Yeah, it's me.
Yeah, hi.
Hello. Yeah, the question was, what's your why? Why do you do what you're doing? Why are you in the line of work that you're in?
I think in sixth form, I knew that I wanted a job where I can be in a position where I have knowledge to help people, to advise people. So I either wanted to be a lawyer or a therapist, because to me, those are advisory roles where you have this knowledge and you're just advising people. Then as I've progressed, it's been more, with becoming a barrister, it's more wanting to show people that they can do it too. I think that's a big why. Even though I enjoy what I do, but I really want to show other people that you don't have to be from the best uni, you don't have to be from this to be a barrister, to be successful. And also, I just enjoy giving back. Like now I volunteer at Citizens Advice, and you just see the difference that you're able to make in someone's life with just your words, or just searching something up, or just writing down something for someone. So I think that's really fulfilling for me. Yeah. Thank you.
Hi, Rianna. Thank you so much. It's been really inspiring, not only for the young people, but for us as well. I think I liked when you talked about your previous experiences, and you were brave enough to talk about the council flat, not going to the best state school, and all of that, and using that. I have an interview coming up, and I just quickly made a note. I was like, I need to use that. Because many times when I've gone for interviews, I've thought, you know what, you came from Uganda, you qualified as a teacher in Uganda. Why would someone want you to have a leadership position in a school? And it's good for me to hear that. Thank you. But my question is, there might be a young person in here and you've shared experiences of having coaches and mentors, people who speak into your lives. Practically, what does that look like? Have you stepped out of your comfort zone and gone and looked for a mentor or a coach? I know there's this scheme you applied for, but apart from that, have you stepped out yourself? Have people come to you? And more so, what does that look like on a day-to-day basis? Because there's this confusion about if someone is mentoring me, is it me who looks for them? Do they look for me? What does that look like? Please speaking to that. Thank you.
Thank you. That's a good question. So yeah, I had my mentor from, she still mentors me, not officially. And I did say I made the transition from wanting to be a commercial barrister to more diverse. So then this year I reached out to someone on LinkedIn who has a practice similar to what I want to have. And she was like, yeah, another black woman as well, because I know that she will get it. And I just put myself out there and sent her a message like, you know, this is what I want to do, this is where I'm at, could you help me? And she was like, yeah. Then we had a call, and I think it's on that call that you discuss how they would like to be it, how they would like for it to be. So I think she asked me what kind of help I wanted. So I was just like, I want to be able to just send you applications to look over and have a catch up now and again. So I think it's taking the initiative to ask the mentor, what are you comfortable with? What do you have the capacity for? And then based on that, you know, just following up, showing that, you know, you're proactive, but not hounding them because they have their own life. Some people are willing to give more time than others. So it's just about, I think, having an initial call to figure that out. Yeah.
Okay, the question for the sake of the recording is, once you've established yourself here, do you ever see yourself practicing in Uganda?
I see myself going to Uganda to help. I would go to Uganda and I would definitely help. But I don't think I know much about what goes on there. And wouldn't I have to qualify? No, I wouldn't have to qualify again. No. You wouldn't? You do?
There's another angle for you to explore.
Yeah, I'll think about it. I'll think about it. Yeah.
I think John Maxwell says at the very start of the book that there is no finish line.
Yes.
So
no finish line. So who knows?
Line.
Yeah.
The world is yours for the taking, right?
Yes.
Can we give Rianna a round of applause?